You don't even need a service dog, you're just faking it for attention. Sarah's voice rang through the hallway as she yanked on Max's leash. My highly trained service dog turned back to me, his ears flicking with uncertainty. I gripped the doorframe, my breath shallow. Sarah, let go. Max is medically necessary. She scoffed, her manicured nails curling around the leash like a lifeline. Necessary for what? I've seen you out in public, you look perfectly fine to me. That was the thing about invisible disabilities. No one saw the daily battle, the effort it took to stay upright, the moments before the world tilted and darkness crept in. Max was my anchor, trained to sense when my blood pressure dropped, to steady me before I collapsed. The security cameras are recording this, I warned my neighbor Mrs. Thompson peeking from her doorway. Taking a service dog is illegal. Sarah laughed, the same mocking laugh she perfected since marrying my brother. Security cameras? Please. They'll show me rescuing a poor dog from someone using him as a prop. I'm taking him to a shelter where he can actually help someone. Panic gripped my chest. My vision blurred at the edges, an all too familiar warning sign. Without Max to ground me, I pressed harder against the frame. Tom knows my condition. He's seen my medical records. Tom's too nice to call you out, she snapped. Someone needs to stop this ridiculous act. You can't just slap a vest on a dog and expect everyone to believe you. I wanted to scream that Max had years of training, that he'd saved my life more times than I could count. But my voice wavered. The darkness at the corners of my vision thickened. Mrs. Thompson, I forced out, my voice barely above a whisper, record this. Max whined as Sarah tugged him toward the elevator, his body tense between his training to stay calm and his instinct to return to me. You'll be hearing from my lawyer, I managed before my legs gave out. The world tilted, and I slid down the doorframe, helpless as Sarah disappeared with my lifeline. Mrs. Thompson rushed over, foam in hand. I got everything. Are you okay? Should I call an ambulance? I shook my head, though the room spun. My phone. I need to call Tom. The next hour was a blur. Mrs. Thompson helped me onto the couch, my legs elevated, something Max usually did for me before these episodes got worse. Tom didn't answer. I called the police instead, my fingers trembling. Your sister-in-law took your service dog. The dispatcher repeated, her voice sharp with concern. Do you know where she's taking him? No, but he's microchipped, and I have all his certification paperwork. He's a legally protected medical service dog. The police arrived 20 minutes later. I handed over every document, proof of Max's training, registration, certification. Officer Martinez reviewed Mrs. Thompson's video, her expression darkening. This is a clear ADA violation, she said. Taking a service dog is theft of medical equipment. That's a felony. I nodded weakly. The building has security cameras. Can you? Already on it. Officer Chen interrupted. The manager is pulling the footage now. My phone buzzed. Tom, I put him on speaker. Olivia, I got your messages. What the hell is Sarah talking about? Saving a dog from exploitation. She stole Max, Tom. She thinks I'm faking my condition. Silence. Then his voice, tight with fury. She did what? Officer Martinez leaned in. Sir, this is a criminal offense. We have video evidence. We're treating this as theft. Tom exhaled sharply. She's not answering my calls. But I can see her location. She's at Happy Tails Shelter. I'm heading there now. We'll meet you there, Officer Chen said. I forced myself upright, every movement an effort. I'm coming too. Mrs. Thompson grabbed her phone, her grip firm. You're not going alone. The ride was tense. My heart pounded, not just from my condition, but from fear. What if Sarah had convinced them I was unfit? What if Max was already gone? Officer Martinez glanced at me. The shelter's been notified. They're holding him. As we pulled in, I saw Tom's car parked haphazardly, Sarah's SUV beside it. Voices carry from inside. Heated, urgent. This wasn't over. But with the police at my side, the video evidence in hand, and the truth finally laid bare, Sarah had nowhere left to hide. The shelter's automatic doors slid open, and the argument inside sharpened. Sarah's voice, sharp and indignant, cut through the air. I'm trying to help this dog. She's using him for attention. She doesn't even have a real disability. Flanked by Officers Martinez and Chen, I stepped inside with Mrs. Thompson right behind me. The scene was chaotic. Tom stood in his rumpled hospital scrubs, his face flushed with anger. Sarah stood at the front desk, gesturing wildly, while a stern-faced shelter manager held Max's leash. My heart clenched. The moment Max saw me, his ears perked, though his training kept him from pulling away. "Ma'am," the shelter manager was saying, her voice firm, "we cannot and will not process this surrender. This is a clearly marked service dog with identification and a microchip." Finally, Tom exhaled when he saw us. "Olivia, are you okay? You look pale." Before I could answer, Sarah spun around, her expression twisted with rage. "Oh, perfect timing. Now you can all see how she's faking it. Look at her. Does she look disabled to you?" Officer Martinez stepped forward, badge displayed. "Mrs. Parker, step away from the service dog." "This is ridiculous." Sarah scoffed. "Are you really going to believe?" "Sarah," Tom cut in, his voice dangerously low. "Security cameras caught everything. They recorded you taking Max. They recorded Olivia collapsing after you left." "Jessica," the shelter manager looked appalled. "You saw her collapse and still brought the dog here." "She's faking," Sarah snapped, but her voice wavered. "She's been faking for years, using that dog to get special treatment, making Tom feel sorry for her." "That's enough," Officer Chen said sharply. "Mrs. Parker, stealing a service animal is a felony offense under state law." The color drained from Sarah's face. "A felony? But I was trying to help." "Help?" My voice was unsteady, but I forced myself to stand my ground. "You think taking my medical alert dog helps anyone?" "Max isn't a pet, Sarah. He detects changes in my blood pressure. He warns me before I faint. He keeps me safe." Jessica nodded. "His training credentials are impeccable. The certifying organization is one of the most respected in the country." "The videos show everything," Mrs. Thompson added, lifting her phone. "How you waited until Tom was at work. How you dragged Max away while Olivia begged you to stop. How she collapsed in the hallway." Sarah paled. "Videos. Multiple angles," Officer Martinez confirmed. "Building security, Mrs. Thompson's recording, and the shelter's own cameras. Would you like to revise your statement about helping?" I saw the exact moment reality crashed into Sarah. Her eyes darted between the officers, Tom's furious expression, and Max's service vest emblazoned with medical alert patches. I didn't." "Didn't what?" Tom snapped. "Didn't think you'd get caught? Didn't think stealing a service dog was serious? Or didn't think Olivia's disability was real because you can't see it?" "Max," I called softly, and Jessica immediately led him to me. The second he reached me, he pressed against my leg, his signal that my blood pressure was dropping. I needed to sit. Mrs. Thompson quickly grabbed a chair. Sarah scoffed. "See, she's fine 1 minute and sitting the next. That's not how disabilities work." "That's exactly how POTS works," Tom shot back. "Her blood pressure drops suddenly when she stands. Max alerts her before she faints. You'd know that if you ever listened when I explained it." Officer Martinez pulled out her handcuffs. "Sarah Parker, you're under arrest for theft of medical equipment and interference with a service animal. You have the right to remain silent." As the cuffs clicked around her wrists, Sarah's bravado shattered. "Tom, you can't let them do this. I was protecting you. She's been manipulating you with this fake disability act for years." Tom stared at her like she was a stranger. "The only manipulation I see is yours. We'll be discussing this with a divorce lawyer." "I'll be pressing charges," I added, gripping Max's fur for stability, "and filing a restraining order." Sarah's face crumpled as Officer Chen led her outside. The shelter fell silent, the only sound the hum of the air conditioning and Max's steady breathing beside me. Jessica broke the quiet, handing me a copy of the incident report. "Everything is documented. We're happy to testify if needed." "Thank you," Tom murmured, rubbing his temples. "I can't believe, Olivia, I had no idea she would." "It's not your fault," I said, though my hands still shook. "But this can't happen again. Max isn't just a dog. He's my independence." Mrs. Thompson, still clutching her phone, gave me a reassuring nod. "Don't worry, dear. Between the security footage and what I recorded, she won't be able to claim she was helping anyone." As we left the shelter, Max staying close where he belonged, relief ward with exhaustion. I had him back, But at what cost? My relationship with my brother would never be the same. But when I looked at Tom, all I saw was regret and a promise to make things right. "Let's get you home," he said gently. "I'll follow to make sure you get there safely." The adrenaline was fading, my body growing heavy with fatigue. But Max was with me. He would alert me when I needed to rest. He would keep me steady. Sarah had tried to paint me as a fraud, but all she had done was prove exactly why I needed Max in my life. The weeks following Sarah's arrest were filled with unexpected changes. The district attorney's office reached out about pressing charges, sending over a thick stack of paperwork that laid out the gravity of her actions. Taking a service animal is legally classified as interference with medical equipment, my lawyer explained, and the security footage of you collapsing after she took Max significantly strengthens the case. Sitting in her office, Max steady by my side, I skimmed the documents. Sarah was facing multiple felony charges, service animal theft, medical interference, and willful endangerment of a disabled person. The evidence against her was overwhelming. Building security footage, Mrs. Thompson's videos, the shelter's documentation, and Sarah's unrecorded admissions. Tom called me every day, his voice thick with guilt. "The divorce papers are filed," he told me one evening. Sarah's parents tried defending her, saying she was just being protective. Then I showed them the video of you collapsing. They stopped making excuses. The criminal case moved quickly. Overwhelmed by the evidence, Sarah's lawyer negotiated a plea deal. No jail time but steep fines, mandatory community service at a disability advocacy center, and a permanent restraining order keeping her away from me and Max. On sentencing day, I sat in the courtroom with Max at my feet and Tom beside me. Sarah looked nothing like the woman who had once dragged my service dog away. Her designer wardrobe replaced with a modest suit, her usual confidence hollowed out. "Would you like to make a statement?" the judge asked me. I rose carefully, one hand on Max for balance. "Invisible disabilities are still disabilities," I said, my voice steady. "Max isn't just a dog. He's my medical alert system, my independence, my safety net." When Sarah took him, she didn't just take a pet. She took my ability to function safely in the world. As part of her plea deal, Sarah was required to issue a public apology. She stood stiffly, hands trembling as she read from a prepared statement. I let my assumptions about disability cloud my judgment. I was wrong to take Max, wrong to accuse Olivia of faking, and wrong to put her health at risk. The words felt rehearsed, but the judge seemed satisfied. He handed down her sentence. 2 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, a $25,000 fine payable to a service dog training organization, and a lifetime restraining order. Outside the courthouse, Tom pulled me into a tight hug. "I should have shut her down the first time she questioned your disability," he said. "I should have done more." "You're doing the right thing now," I assured him. "That's what matters." But the story didn't end in that courtroom. Mrs. Thompson shared the security footage with our apartment complex, prompting management to implement mandatory service animal awareness training. They invited me to speak at a resident meeting, and I stood at the podium, Max beside me, addressing neighbors who had once viewed me with skepticism. "Not all disabilities are visible," I said. "Max alerts me before my blood pressure drops, helping me avoid dangerous falls. He's not just a dog in a vest, he's medical equipment that allows me to live independently." The impact rippled outward. Local news picked up the story. Support poured in from the disability community, with people sharing their own stories of doubt and discrimination. What Sarah had intended as an expose had instead revealed the harsh realities of living with an invisible disability. A year later, I stood before a state legislative committee, testifying in support of stronger penalties for service animal interference. "When someone takes a service dog, they're not just taking an animal," I said. "They're taking someone's independence, their safety, their ability to navigate the world." The bill passed unanimously. The media dubbed it Max's Law. It imposed stricter penalties for interfering with service animals and required disability awareness training for offenders. Tom, now divorced and focusing on his medical career, often joined me at advocacy events. "You turned something awful into something meaningful," he told me after one speech. "You didn't just fight Sarah, you fought for everyone with an invisible disability." As for Max, he remained my constant companion, unfazed by the drama that had swirled around us. His focus never wavered. He kept monitoring my health, alerting me when I needed to rest, helping me stay steady. Sarah had set out to prove I was a fraud. Instead, she had proven exactly why I needed Max.